Okay, it says it's recording. I am chronicling my very first time bringing my self-defense weapon with me on an airplane. So to start off with, I'm not an authority. The usual disclaimers apply. If you just listen to me, you're stupid. You know the whole 9 yards. I'm just chronicling what is happening with me. To start off with, I spent a lot of time studying about the local laws in each of the states that I plan to visit, not only as I am flying to and from, but also any stopover locations. For example, I check to make sure that even a place that I am stopping over will honor, doesn't have any sort of an issue with me and my personal defense weapon with the credentials that I have for my concealed carry license. So I started off with that, and then I read up on the TSA website. I went to the website for each of the states where they talk about carrying of personal offense, handgun, how it should be done, how it should be not done, etc. All of that. And then all three airports that I'm going to be going into, out of, or through. 1, 2, 3, 4 airports. So I had to check all those. I am here at Washington Reagan National Airport. You can probably see the tower back there behind me. I'm at Reagan National Airport, and first thing I thought of was, well, that's Washington, D.C. That's going to be a problem. Well, the good news is Washington Reagan National Airport is in Virginia. So I'm on the Virginia side of the Potomac. I'm not in the District of Columbia, so the Virginia laws apply. I was very concerned about Washington, D.C., even as an airport, even when I'm going through, declaring a weapon in my baggage. So I started with that. So let me show what I have done in my suitcase, and we'll go from there. Here's my suitcase. I'm going to be carrying it on. I have, something distinctive to make sure that everybody knows it's mine. This is one of the usual, black suitcases that everybody carries. I have a TSA approved lock. In other words, it's a lock that allows the TSA to do their thing here. So when they open it for inspection, this is very important, as I've heard. If I were to go through the whole 9 yards here with everything that I'm doing and declaring and not have a TSA approved lock on here, they would cut my lock and I wouldn't be able to fly with the weapon anyway. So TSA approved lock is the next thing. All right, here's my suitcase. The inside of the suitcase contains my gun safe. It's a TSA approved safe, and I do have it tethered to the ribs inside my suitcase, so that even if somebody were to be able to get into here, it would be extremely difficult for them to extract this anyway. I have a combination lock, and again, this thing that makes sure this doesn't move anywhere. Let me unlock this and we'll go from there. Here we go. This is my box. A few things to note. I have 2 clips here with no ammo in them, and it's very easy to see that the clips are totally empty. I have my weapon here. It is not locked. I do have the capability of getting a personal lock, using a lock on it, and I do that around the house or when I'm traveling to a range. I do lock this because in Maryland, I believe it's supposed to be locked when I'm transporting it. So I do have a lock, but I don't have it during this trip because it's just so tightly packed in here. My lock would have been very difficult to use. This is empty. It has been cleared and verified at least twice. And also, here's something kind of interesting I heard. You have to have your ammo in an original box, but it doesn't have to be the original box it came in. For example, this is 20 gauge shotgun, and yet I have my 380 ammo in it. It's inside here and it's rather secured, so it's not going to go anywhere. It just has to be in a manufacturer's box. So this is important, as I've heard. So there it is. I've got the 2 clips. I've got the weapon here ready to show at the airport. I do have it in safety is on for all the good that does. And my ammo here in a manufacturer's box. The case is well padded, also just to make sure that nobody would, run away and not know that this wasn't theirs. My card is inside here to, in case somebody, decides to have a conscience and take a look at it and say, oh, this is who it belongs to. While I'm videoing, I wanted to show the tether. This is the one end of the tether. Like I said, the other is connected to the ribs inside. It's hooked on the ribs inside my suitcase. They would have to demolish the suitcase to remove this at the other end. And this end goes right in here and tucks into the notch right here on my TSA approved case. And so therefore, once I close the lid of this case, there's no way for this case and this suitcase to come apart without tremendous amounts of human effort or unlocking this case. So here it is. Oh, it's blue. I didn't realize that. And we are ready to go to the terminal. All right. I just went through the checking carousel, or whatever you want to call it, over there, the front ticket counter. I walked up to the counter, and she was getting ready to weigh my bag, and I said, I have something to declare. And she said, okay, stand back for a second, let me finish with these people, because she was doing 2 groups at a time. So I said, I have something to declare. And then she handed me a firearms form. So she knew what I was declaring. Obviously, you can't declare very much. But I filled out the form, and basically it was, this weapon belongs to, name, address, phone number, etc. And then on the back, I had to certify that it was in a TSA-approved container. It was totally unloaded. That I had less than 11 pounds of ammunition, etc. in all of that. And once I was finished, she said, okay, roll it up here. She rolled it up onto the little weighing station. And then she said, okay, stand back over there. And I stood off about, 20 feet away. While she was handling some other customers, she rolled the suitcase into the back. And she sat for, probably 4 minutes, 5 minutes. And every time she'd do somebody, she'd look in the back and go, and then come back out and do the next group of people, and then go turn around again to the guys in the back and go. And finally, I guess somebody went back at her, and she said, okay, you can go, you're good to go. So I did not even have to open my bag, although when I did do the declaration form, she got a piece of tape, large tape, like packing tape, and handed it to me and placed it over the top of the form and said, you have to affix this to your case. And I said, okay, no problem. So instead of just placing it on it like I've seen in some of the other movies, I had to tape it to the top of my case. And then she said, all right, you're good to go. So here I am headed toward the terminal to do my boarding. Or I'm sorry, I have to go to security next.
All bags are collected before you enter American Airlines from Chicago has been placed on carousel 1 2. For the resistance, please be recognized by the service agent beside carousel 1 2.
Well, here's my suitcase. Just opened it up. It does have something that says, by the way, this was inspected. And let's take a look. Here's my case as I left it. Nothing else appears to have been too damaged or moved around. I do note that the inside edge of this suitcase is a bit bowed. From the looks of it, it got a little bit mangled as it was being thrown around, but that's not atypical for any suitcase handling these days. So a recommendation I would have is make sure you have quality luggage that you put your firearms into. But there she is. Here in Nashville, the experience was a little bit different than it was in DC. I went to the counter and had my suitcase with, everything set up correctly. My locked suitcase and my TSA approved lockbox already in place with the unloaded weapon, everything. I did all that at the hotel, so I didn't have to do anything once I arrived here. And went to the counter and said, I have something to declare. She said, okay, handed me the form. I'm filling it out. And I put it on top. I asked for a piece of tape and taped it to the top of the lockbox and my declaration form. Then when I had done that, she said, all right, put the tape on it that shows the final destination, etc., and said, okay, we recommend that you wait in the lobby for 10 minutes. If you don't hear your name called, then you're free to proceed to the gate. It's a little bit different than it was in DC, but still totally acceptable.